There's something different about places like this. No noise, no rush, no pressure to be anywhere else. Just wind, stone, and time moving slowly. People have been walking these paths for hundreds of years. Travelers, wanderers, people searching for something they couldn't quite name. And maybe that hasn't changed. Because even now, we come here for the same reason, to step away, to breathe, to remember what it feels like to exist without distraction. Up here, nothing really matters in the way it does down below. Deadlines disappear, notifications don't reach you, and for once, your thoughts have space. It's strange how silence can feel so loud at first, but if you stay long enough, it softens, and what remains is something rare. Clarity, not answers, not solutions, just a quiet understanding that you don't need to carry everything all the time. Sometimes it's enough to walk forward, step by step, and let the world unfold around you. Because maybe peace isn't something you find. Maybe it's something that was always there, waiting for you to slow down enough to notice it. And then the landscape changes. The mountains fall behind you, and the air begins to taste different. Salt, wind, distance. Out here on Shell Island, everything feels more open. The horizon stretches endlessly, as if the world itself decided to breathe a little deeper. The sand carries stories too. But unlike the mountains, they don't stay. Every wave rewrites them. Footprints disappear, moments fade, and somehow that feels right. There's a quiet freedom in knowing that nothing has to last forever. You can sit here, listen to the rhythm of the sea, and let things go. Not everything needs to be held on to. Some thoughts are meant to drift, like the tide pulling gently away from the shore. And as the light softens and the wind moves across the dunes, you start to realize peace isn't always found in stillness. Sometimes where it's found in the constant, gentle movement of the world around you. And as the day begins to settle, something changes again, quietly, almost without notice. The light softens over the water, the wind slows just enough for you to hear it differently, not as something moving through the world, but as something moving through you. And it's here, in moments like this, that you start to understand something simple, but often forgotten, that none of these places were ever meant to be experienced alone. Because no matter how beautiful the mountains are, no matter how endless the sea feels, it's the people beside you who give those moments meaning. Friendship doesn't always announce itself loudly. It doesn't need grand gestures or constant words. Sometimes it's just presence, sitting together in silence, watching the same horizon, hearing the same waves break and return. No need to explain anything, no need to fill the space, just knowing someone else is there. And somehow, that's enough. There's a quiet kind of trust that builds in places like this. Not the kind that's spoken, but the kind that grows slowly, naturally, like footprints appearing side by side in the sand. You walk, they walk, and without realizing it, you begin to move in rhythm, through uneven ground, through changing weather, through moments of uncertainty and calm. And over time, those shared steps become something more. They become memories, not the loud, dramatic kind that demand attention, but the soft ones, the ones that return to you unexpectedly, years later, in a certain kind of light, in the sound of wind through grass, in the way the air feels just before the sun sets, and suddenly you're back there, not physically, but somewhere deeper. Because the truth is, places fade, landscapes change, time moves on, but the feeling of being understood, of being seen, without needing to explain yourself, that stays. It settles into you and becomes part of who you are. We often think memories are tied to locations, a mountain, a beach, a road, but they're not. They're tied to people, to laughter carried by the wind, to quiet conversation that didn't need conclusions, to the shared understanding that for a moment everything was exactly as it should be. And maybe that's why we return to places like this, not just to see them again, but to feel something we once felt, to reconnect with a version of ourselves that existed in the presence of others. Because when you share a moment with someone, it doesn't just belong to the past. It continues, it echoes, in the way you remember it, in the way it shapes you, in the way it changes how you see the world. Friendship, in its truest form, isn't about constant connection. It's about knowing that no matter how far apart paths may lead, those shared moments remain untouched, unchanged, still there, like footprints that somehow never quite fade. And maybe that's what makes them so powerful. Not their permanence, but their ability to return to you when you need them most. On quiet evenings, on long drives, on days when the world feels just a little too loud, you remember. And in remembering, you're not alone. Because every laugh, every step, every silent moment shared, they've all become part of something larger than time, something steady, something real. So as the light fades and the day gently comes to an end, you begin to see it clearly. That life isn't made of the places you visit. It's made of the moments you share within them, and the people who stood beside you when those moments happened, the ones who didn't try to change the silence, but understood it, the ones who walked with you, not ahead, not behind, but beside. And maybe in the end, that's what stays with us the longest. Not the view, not the distance traveled, but the quiet certainty that somewhere in the middle of it all, you were never really alone.